let's see what these two nuts look like on here. I think they're a little thick. Well, not really. The stud comes almost out to the end of them, but I do think they're a little thick. I might machine them down on the lathe some. I think the original thin nuts were thinner than that. In fact, I know they were because I've got a drill press over here with those on it. Let's go look at it. So yeah, see the difference? So I need a thinner nut, but I can machine these down on the lathe. We can make it nice. So these next few shots are me playing around with this little dinky SQ11 camera. And I had it too close. I haven't gotten a good idea of what the focus range is, but it's an opportunity to do some interesting shots. So we'll cut those very, very short. So here's the camera in approximately the same position. I do have a little electric heater running, which is the background noise you hear, but I wanted to give you a look at the quality of the image and the sound of the microphone. I'm going to make a mandrel for machining with thin nuts. Use it to get us a nice square start. I didn't put a relief in there, but I turned the die around. See if I can get it started. Let's put a relief on it. No point in struggling. I'm talking about. This one's flat shoulder. And see if we can start this on here now. Yes. Well, yes, we can. Ooh. Well, for some reason I can't finish that up. There's another way to do it though. I don't need very many threads. I don't need very many threads. I say I don't need very many threads to hold the nut. Just want to get it. Oh, I need to thread it a little farther. Just no getting around it. I increase the undercut some too. Plus we got tap magic. That should help. Yes. Now we're threaded all the way to the shoulder. Look at that. Now let's see how this will machine stainless. Ooh. Wow, haven't taken that much off of it. Okay, that's what it should look like. Just for comparison. To match it up, I'll just take this nut down to the aluminum. This sounds awful no matter what you do. Look good to me. You know what? I don't have any lead on one side of the nut. fix that, I can. There we go, got rid of that razor blade edge, I think. It's still a little sharp. Don't like that finish. Nice and thin. I think deburring that inside thread rolled a thread in. Just had to lightly go over it with a tap. Clean that edge up in there. There we go. That's what it's supposed to look like. Nice. Now I can wind this just by loosening those nuts, but just to get it in the ballpark. Oh, yep. Yeah, there's no beginning tooth. So to put this together, I have to slide the pinion out because there's no beginning tooth here. There we go. And to cause the column to wind up, I need to load this over here. Oops, come on. Is that enough? We'll see. I can adjust it if it's not enough. Let's go one more tooth. There we go. One, two. Oops. Yes, I think that'll retract it. And there has to be some play here. There we go. The reason you're using jam nuts is these nuts are turning with the shaft. And if you just had one nut without any locking feature, it would loosen itself as you use the drill press. There we go. Looking good. Getting ready to start wiring. Here's the cord that came out of it. Pretty stiff, and somebody's cut off the ground lug. So we're going to replace that piece of junk. So I have this computer cord. It's kind of crappy. It's not a good color. It doesn't match my theme of gray and black. So I went and bought an extension cord, and this is a 10-footer. And it cost me, I don't know, $7, I think, something like that. Walmart. And it's 16 gauge. It's the same thing that was on the drill press before. So this is what we're going to use. I'm going to put 6 foot of cord on the drill press itself, or running up to the switch. And then I'll use some of this to go from the switch to the motor. And then I'll have this end will be left over, and whatever's left I'll make a little short extension cord stub out of, which is always a handy thing to have in the shop. So just to let you know what's generally going on here. Wire clamp, wire's going to go through the hole. Zip tie on the inside so it doesn't pull through. Here's our switch. This side is the top of the unit. These switches are in the off position. I like down for off. That's going to be the light, which is in the back, that's operated from the front. And this is going to be the drill press motor. So our hot feed, I'm going to bring directly into the motor switch, which is the black wire. And then I'm going to, and then there's a place to put a wire here, and this, by the way, is under a screw and plate clamp. It's not a one of those snaggers like you have in a modern outlet, which I don't like. And then I'm going to jump the black over here to the light. That way we're running all of the power feed to the motor through fewer connections. If I went here because it's closer to where I'm bringing the wire in, that kind of might make sense, but then I'm going through an extra connection to get to the motor, which is a big load. So we want to minimize the connections to the big load. This is a piece of wire I saved from a washing machine, dishwashing machine harness. And yes, some of the stuff I'm going to tin. Actually, I'll probably tin and solder all this. I love soldering. I hate crimp connectors. Not a big fan of wire nuts, although I will use them. But I just like soldered stuff. Never have to redo something that's soldered. That already had solder on it there. Well, I've decided to bring the main power wire in up front here. This back one will be the exit to the motor. So because of the kind of grommet we have here, I don't think I'll need a wire tie. Probably gotta give myself a little more wire there though. This wire might be slightly larger than what I took out of it. I hope I can get that grommet in the hole. Start. I might need needle nose. Maybe one of you guys has got a trick for this. Ooh, well, it's hard to squeeze it. It's small. Gosh darn. Well, maybe I'm going to have to use a rubber grommet there instead. Let me give it a crush in the vise. So in the vise I've carefully reorganized the molecules that make up this plastic grommet and the wire inside. It's quite a bit smaller now. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Wow. Ooh. Oh, I wish I could reach across it. Need a hollow punch. I have to think about this. It's like I've almost got it. I wonder if the literal problem is I'm not using a hammer. Got to grab it up above the bottom so there's something left to drive into the hole. Oh, go. Well, whew, look at that. It's going to have to be a grommet. When I do a grommet on something like this, I'm sorry, when I do a wire tie on something like this as a retainer, I will wrap the wire tie at least once around the wire, because what I'm really trying to do here is create a lump that can't pass through the hole. I'm grabbing it and twisting the plier to hold it, to pull it tight. It's possible to get quite a number of extra clicks. And you want a good set of flush side cutters like these, where they're sharpened right to this edge for cutting these things. Particularly if you're putting these up under your dash in a car. There's no sharp edges there to cut me now. Not that I could fit my hand up in here anyways, I really can't, but wow. I've got something to wire. Once I started doing the stainless steel thing, it became a problem for me. I've been ordering stainless steel fasteners like they're going out of style. I'd like to remake this part in aluminum. Okay. Let's see, definitely going to, since that's going under a screw lug, we're definitely going to solder that. A little bit of rosin. Snap up, boys and girls, snap up. Older cups, tins of rosin, because they're for leaded solder, and any leaded solder you find, there's going to come a time when you can't buy this stuff anymore. Eventually those crazy environmentalists are going to take over the world. They just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. We got satellites falling out of the sky over that crap. Injuring the country, but they still got to do it. They can't help themselves. Okay. Oops. Get some rosin on it. There we go. Ah, look at that bulb I've got there. Get rid of that. Don't have enough clearance. I'm gonna get some more solder off of that. There we go. Da 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 da. Got them both in there. There we go. So I got to get my motor lead in here. Get your motor running. Got my ground eyelet soldered on. heat shrink it. I'm heat shrinking it to strain relieve it, so it doesn't ever break where the insulation ends and the metal eyelet begins. It won't flex there repeatedly. Soldering terribly. Okay, let's get back in here. A little bit of solder to make a thermal connection, and then melt the rest of it on the copper. There we go. Now I'm not crushing this with the plier. What I am doing is like little sharp spots, I'm just kind of numbing them over. Want to make sure nothing punctures the heat shrink. That's quality work, folks. Now this black wire is going to serve our motor. And anything that we would turn on with the motor, which is going to be just the motor. So we have our hot coming in here, jumping over to the other switch. Switches are off, switches are on. That connects the hot across to the light bulb to the motor. Now you'll notice I don't have a grommet in here. I had to order some. Thick grommet for that. Even still have the plug on here. So I'll cut this to length when I get the motor mounted up, and we'll probably do the final wiring of the motor on the drill press. I don't want to lift the head and the motor together. So because I can cut this off, I'll be able to slide my grommet over and install it. So we make the thermal connection down here, and once we've made the thermal connection, with a little drop of solder on the iron, the heat just transfers through the copper beautifully. All on its own. If you're not melting the solder on the thing you're soldering, then you got a bad joint going. That's what a cold joint is. See something else here. I want to. There we go. Get our double layer over the rough solder joint. Okay. I need to get a heat gun handy. Did you notice that I left the wire disconnected from the light to the white wire. Well, I noticed it and I fixed it. Oh. Got the switch backwards. It's got an M and an L on it. Let's turn it around. Let's get it correct. You know what I'm seeing that I don't like here? No, it'll get tight. I'm worried about the ground floating under the switch plate, but it'll get tight. And by the way, I ordered some stainless fasteners for this too. So I'll take these fasteners out and change them as soon as they come in. I'm going to have a hard time selling this drill press because I've kind of dolled it up the way I want it. It really is pretty nice. Wow, switches aren't centered under the plate. What's going on? Not happy about it. There we go. At least it's not rubbing on the side of the switch. Not a very, oh, maybe it is going to rub. Not a very good fit. Don't want to break these switches. Not sure what's going on. We're hard against this edge. Wow, what the heck? Take it apart again. Okay. A little ground wire contraption here. Getting jammed between the side of the casting and the switch. Not pleased. Got lumpy problems. Man, I may have to redo that. I can't have this lump under that ear. Hate to have a bare copper wire in there. Let me think. Okay, I think I got it now. Still not a great fit, but good as it's gonna get. So check this out. This is the plunger that pushes on the motor mount to keep belt tension. And this is what was on it for a rubber, for a for a foot or a bumper, a grommet. Oh, that's terrible. So that means it was really metal on metal. So I went through my stuff and I found this part, which I could press on here and cut off. It doesn't really come down the head very far, so I decided to run to Menards and get these feet. Now these aren't rubber, they're kind of a soft plastic, but that'll be good. And they're for 1/2 inch, so yeah, they fit. So I'll probably, yeah, I don't know if the spring will fit in them or not. Yeah, maybe the spring will fit in them, so I guess I'm probably going to shorten this. It doesn't need to be that deep. So I'll take a razor and shorten this. And we'll have a bumper on our belt tensioning rod. There we go. That's the right length. One more thing done.